This is Bryce Van Patten from Metal Express Radio Backstage, and today my guest is the vocalist for the #1 Deep Purple tribute band in the world. Their new album, Human Mechanic, features none other than Ian Paice on the drums. The band, Perpendicular. My guest today, frontman and vocalist Robby Thomas Walsh. Can you name the moment that growing up when you knew that you were going to be a musician?
Well, I guess it's what every kid does when they hear a good rock and roll album for the first time, and it just grabs them. You emulate what you see from the big stars. And I remember trying to emulate Robert Plant in front of the mirror, you know. So very early, I would have been about 7 years of age, I think, when I thought, you know what, this would be cool. But my parents, they did their best to everything from threatening to cut my hair and throw me out of the house. I didn't listen.
Yeah, I seem to remember my guidance counselors in high school saying, no, don't do that. Yeah. Don't follow music. That's
Sure. Yeah, I remember in the school I went to in Dublin, we weren't allowed to have long hair, so I grew it just about here where I get away with it. But my hair's pretty thick, so if it's that short, I look like a goat looking through a hedge. That's what we, that's what we say in Ireland. He looks like a goat. Look at a sheep, because you get that awkward stage where it's not too long, it's not too short, but it's not long enough, and you look like not Stevie Wonder.
It looks funky.
Valderrama, the Colombian player. That's it.
Nice. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about your career before Perpendicular?
Yeah, it was. I had a very good how do you say introduction to music and how to deal with people and how to conduct myself on stage. But interestingly, I started as a drummer, not a vocalist. Yeah, I was about 15, and I bought my first set of drums in a pretty nasty state of repair, but it worked. And I joined this little three-piece band called Double Trouble. I took the name from a John Mayall blues track from the album Looking Back. And
nice.
We used to play around Dublin in all these little bars, and some of it was kind of background music. You got a band in there, but nobody's really listening. They're drinking and they're talking. That's horrible.
Right.
But and then we moved into better places, but it was all like bars. It was never a big venue or a theater or anything like that. It was all, and I realized, playing drums is difficult because I didn't have a car at the time. And I had to rely sometimes on one of the lads or my parents, and that's horrible. Because they were trying.
Yeah, they get tired of that pretty quickly.
Oh, the novelty wears off after the first few gigs. Yeah, and it's really funny because my dad, any time I was naughty, he would say, "I'm going to sell them drums."
Oh,
yeah. And then he's at the bar after a gig one night. Oh, I taught my son how to play the drums. I could hear him. Said, "Yeah, right." Come on, man. But I accidentally became a singer, and I told this on another channel. This story, we were doing a gig down the country, and this was with another band, another little band called So What. We're just a cover band, playing Queen and Fleetwood Mac and ZZ Top and stuff like that.
Sure.
And the vocalist that we got in, we didn't know that during the break he had a joint, so he couldn't stand up. He came out of the toilet and went, Jesus wept, I said to myself. He was gone, man. He was absolutely ashen, white-faced, everything. I said, he's that's it, isn't it? And the guys all looked at me and said, well, Rob, you're the only one that can nearly sing here. We've got to go out. We'll give it the microphone. I said, you're kidding me. We got Led Zeppelin in the set, and they got Queen in the set. I said, they're going to kill me, And I did the best I could, and the lads after the gig said, "Rob, you should really switch to being a vocalist." And I said, "Yeah, I'm tired of lugging them drums around. It's really difficult. The vocalist is just perfect. What a transition from stacking a car and begging for a lift to just microphone."
Exactly. So I'm sure that was an easy choice at the time for you.
And more women back then.
So, talk a little bit about what made you decide to create Perpendicular and why Deep Purple.
Well, when I moved to Germany, because, in Ireland, it was pretty difficult. It was either the bars, like I aforementioned, or big arenas, which there was no hardly middle ground where you could progress. So I said, look, I've got to go to Germany. So whilst I was in Germany, I worked in bars to pay the rent, and I had an original band called Decoder, and we just couldn't get the gigs to make ends meet, basically. And I went from another band and did some sessions with another band, and then I met a group of people. I said, look, I want to really start something here that we're going to get paid properly, to give us a chance, rather than, I couldn't stand to stay working in a bar with no disrespect. The barkeeper is a great job, but for me, I had a different goal, and that was to pursue a professional career. So basically, we all sat around one day and said, look, what's the common denominator here? What band? We don't want to do a cover thing like a wedding band or something like that. That was out of the question. We wanted to take something seriously, but we didn't want to copy Bryce. We didn't want to copy anybody. We wanted to incorporate our style into the music, no matter who we were going to cover. So everybody said Deep Purple. Led Zeppelin, there's only so much you can do with the music. But we all said Purple because there's so much improvisation. There's so much space in them tracks and them songs to play with, to make them your own without changing them dogmatically different. I'm talking about just the improv parts. We could do what we wanted.
Well, sure.
Jam that, and never copy. We actually said we're not going to copy. You get bands that take it a little bit too far, like theater, and they end up dressing up like them and talking like them, and
wearing, everybody's got a wig and
yeah, well, that's when it turns into a bit of a circus, and that's fine for other people. I'm not knocking that. It just wasn't for me.
So the cool thing, like you say, with Deep Purple, think about even the recorded versions of Lazy, and then you watch on a video, like if you watch and they do it different almost every time.
Yeah, same with us. You won't get you get the same set list. I remember years ago when I was buying a Purple album, I used to always buy live ones because you never know what you're going to get, and it was absolutely fantastic. But I remember my mum thinking there was something wrong with me. She said, "Look, you bought a live track. You bought a live album last week, and it's got the same songs on it. What's wrong with you?" I said, "Mum, you don't get it, do you? It's completely different. Listen, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, they thought I was gone a bit loopy." But yeah, every night we're on stage, it's different. Every gig is different. The set list might be the same. You have a sort of a map where you're going to go, but you take different routes now and again to get to the end.
So
that's exciting. That's exciting. Yeah.
Okay, sorry to cut you off there. So how did Ian Paice come into the picture?
Well, I met Ian in Manchester in 1996. But strictly as a fan back then. And we got chatting, and then I got a call that he was looking for a singer in Austria. I arrived there and introduced myself to him, said, "Hi, Robby, I'm Robby." I said, "No problem." We were literally just to go on stage. And Stockley was the keyboard player that night. So, you had 3/5 of Perpendicular basically that night, that very first night, 2002, I think it was. Bryce. Wow. And back then. And then next day, myself and Ian, we went for dinner, and we had a great chat, and we got on so well. We realized we had the same humor. We had a lot of fun, great fun on stage. It wasn't the best gig, but it was okay. It was in Vienna. That's where it was. And over the years, it got more and more incessant. At the start, he was only jumping in for a couple of tours, maybe 10, 15 shows a year. But now it's right up to, we're doing between 40 and we want to push it up to 70, depending on what Deep Purple are doing. But he really, I think he appreciates that we don't copy. We don't, as I said, we don't copy. And he gets a chance to keep fit. And he knows there's no stress. We always have such a good time. We have great food, great laugh. And we play some good gigs, I would imagine, and
I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's really easy, and as I say, we love chatting about good beers, our football teams. As I say, it's just he came on board. I think it's good for him and it's good for us because he keeps that 10% that he might lose if he's not doing anything in between Deep Purple tours. And he can do an odd weekend in Italy with some bands and blah, blah, blah. But it's not enough sometimes. He needs to keep, it's like a little bit like a football player. You've got to keep that match fitness. It's no use being trapped in a room you can stop. In a room, you don't have any people, you don't have any discipline, But when you're in front, when you're in front of people, you gotta keep going. You can't stop. That's and you keep your levels up.
For sure. So you guys also had a chance to work with Roger Glover and Lynn Turner.
Yeah, we worked. Joe is a great character. I met Joe in St. Petersburg, in Russia, at the bar, as strangely enough, and we were talking about the old Rainbow times, and what a cool guy Joe is. We did a couple of gigs in Russia, and he did the first part of the set, and I did, he did the first part of the set.
Mm-hmm.
No, now I'm getting mixed up. I did the first part of the set, and then Joe came in halfway through, and we did the hits and a couple of Joe songs or whatever like that. So, and we had a lot of fun. The best was I'm not drinking, Robby, and he had a bottle of martini.
And Roger Glover,
he's lovely. Oh, Roger's one of the dearest. Roger's great. Roger, I was just saying to in another interview, if I had to nominate somebody to teach kids that wanted to be professional musicians, Roger would be the first on the list. He knows how to conduct himself. He's so nice. I mean, with such a huge amount of success, for somebody to be so pleasant, and he's just a really cool guy. You could talk with him till the cows come home, basically. But we played in Switzerland together on stage, and I'm not sure if he wanted to. He was forced. he came backstage, and I said, "Right, Rog, come on," or one of the guys did. I think he said no to me, and I poured him a beer, and he said, "Oh, I'm off tonight," but we got him up there. We got him.
Awesome.
But
go ahead.
He's very complimentary of the band, and he likes what we do and stuff. So, and he's a good pal. We mail now and again, and just to say hello. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Roger Glover, and for me, Deep Purple was the moment when I knew that things had changed a little bit. I real briefly, I stayed over a weekend with a young friend. I think I was maybe 11, and his big brother puts on this record in his room, and my other friend wants to play Tonka trucks, and then I hear this music, and I just stop what I'm doing and go over to this room, and I'm like, what is that? And he's like, this is Deep Purple, Machine Head, and I'm just like, I was fixated from that moment on, that was the first full-sided album I ever bought, and for me, so it's great, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. So let's talk about Human Mechanic, your third record, a little bit about how it came together and how Ian Paice was involved.
Ian played the drums.
Well, exactly. I knew that part.
We had a lot of songs knocking around the can since 2020. And obviously we had this horrible bloody pandemic.
Right.
Stopped everything. So with the pandemic in mind, and we knew we couldn't tour, we said, look, okay, wait a minute. We're not going to release anything because we want to make sure everything is in place and we want to be able to tour. I mean, it would be pretty stupid to release an album and then not promote it.
Yeah, you can't support it.
You could do it if you're a massive, massive artist. Michael Jackson could do it, or but we needed to follow it up with a tour, and we said we cannot. We didn't have any light at the end of the tunnel. We didn't know how the pandemic was going to end. It could have been 3 years. Bloomberg was saying 10 years or whatever. I don't know, but we had to be careful. So I always try and drag a positive out of a negative, and I said, look, let's all sit down and figure out, what label, any lineup changes, and we corrected a couple of things. We got a great label with Metalville with Holger Koch, Metalville, the records in Germany, in Cologne.
Yeah, they're great.
Been excellent, really excellent. They've been really, really good, and they're a good family, good bunch of lads, And it gave us more time then to say, right, well, what songs do we want to put on this? Do we want to correct this piece of work, or we had a couple of bits and pieces. We had an instrumental, and we were pondering, should we put that on? It gave us time, because normally we're on the road working the whole time, so we don't get this chance to this downtime to say, right, we can't afford to take 2, 3, 4 months off the road.
Right.
So basically, everything came together, and we said, right, we will go with these 10 tracks, and it was written from live grooves in sound checks and in improvisation on stage. We might have ideas that come up every night, not consciously, subconsciously, and they just evolve. And what happens is when we get home, we put it down on tape, or Herb would put it down on his in his hotel room, or we work it that way. And because of my love for 70s disco rock, I sometimes might find a great bass line or a great groove, I think, in rhythmic patterns rather than, that's the way my brain is working. So being a drummer, and then loving bands like Chic and stuff like that. So if I find
exactly, like I've been listening to I Want Your Love, because the bass line on that is just, and at the time I was not a disco fan, but but when I reference back now and listen to some of those bass lines, are just incredible. So.
I know Bernard Edwards is for me the best bass player that ever walked this planet. He's something else. He's just so unique, But I'd get inspiration from one of those songs, and I wouldn't borrow it or steal it. Some musicians are thieves.
Sure.
We change it, and everything bearing in mind of the way Ian plays drums. That was imperative. Ian has to like, and because Ian plays with this wonderful swing group that he learned from big bands when he was younger, when he was in his teens with his dad's band, and being a fan of Buddy Rich and stuff like that. So we had to give him stuff that he would like and he would want to play, and not just a cold session or something like that, And I told him, look, it's a band record, and he absolutely nailed it. He sent me back. He's very pleasant. When he sent the tracks back from Henley, when he recorded in the UK, the rest of the album was recorded in Germany, in Ulm. But when he sent it back, he said, "Oh man, look, I hope it's okay for you." He said, "If you don't like it, I'll do another track or I'll do something else." I said, "Man, shut up, come on."
Like you're gonna send them back. Sorry.
You know what? I should have sent him back. He said, "Yeah, what are you doing, man? This is awful."
So, how does it feel, making records with Ian? Just that's got to be like pretty incredible feeling.
Well, it is. When you mentioned when you heard Purple the first time,
right?
It was a similar story with me. I was chasing. I was very. What way? I would have been about 14, 15, and I remember being after this girl for a long time, and I finally got talking to her at a party, and all my buddies were, "Go on, man, you're going to be all right." And in the background, just like what you were saying about Machine Head, Scandinavian Nights 1970 was playing in the background, Wring That Neck, and it was going on for about 30 minutes, this jam.
I love that.
She became a blur. She just, even though she was talking, I could see her lips moving.
She just faded out.
She zoomed out. How do I put that into words? Hope she's not listening. So you feeling okay? And this is not really, what's that music, But it was, that really hit home when I heard it the first time. It was wow. It's like what you said. What was the question again? You asked me.
Oh, just what's it like? Playing with a legend like Ian Paice, who's like could easily be considered the greatest drummer alive, as far as I'm concerned, in hard rock.
Sure. Yeah, I forgot. So that's what I meant to say. Because I was a big Pink Floyd fan as well. And when I heard Deep Purple, it was a head turner. It really, I knew there was Led Zeppelin and there was bands like that, but nobody played like Purple. It was like jazz incorporated into hard rock, but they played their instruments so hard. It was just, Jesus Christ, wow, And I stuck with that for a few years, and I got a few of the records and stuff like that. So to be playing with Ian is a bit of a fairy tale. And what I will say to listeners is that no matter how ridiculous that you think that your dreams or your goals are,
Mhm.
don't listen. Don't listen to anybody. Go get it. Go get it. It can be there. It can be done. I mean, just put the effort in. Don't give up. Keep going. Don't mind the setbacks. The setbacks are there to learn. If you make a mistake, learn from it and move on. But I'm going to make a mistake now. I'm going to learn.
Exactly. Exactly.
The way it is. There's so many kids out there saying, "Oh no, I can't. Oh Jesus, no, I can't." If you want something, you got one life. Go and get it. That's it.
So question, you guys are perpendicular, so I know you focus on the Steve Morse era, but are you playing Blackmore tunes as well live?
Yeah, of course. We'd have to. We'd have to do Smoke on the Water.
Right.
We'd be nailed to a cross if we didn't, the set is basically, it's pretty hard when you got that back catalogue from Deep Purple of all them songs. I mean, you could have about 20 different sets, and people still wouldn't be satisfied,
Yeah, they're like, why didn't you play my song?
No, we had it the whole time. We dropped Child in Time because we wanted to do Mistreated, and then people said, why didn't you do Mistreated tonight when you do Mistreated? So why didn't you do Child in Time tonight? And you say, oh man, you can only put it in one play. You can only have really one big dramatic song in a set. You can't really have two, because people now, they have less patience than they did when back in the 60s and 70s, probably from the substance they were smoking or whatever. But nowadays, people just want to hear what they know, and they want to hear it right now. It's tough. So basically, there's a lot of hits in there, a couple of Deep Purple obscure songs, and there'll be 2 or 3 from the new record, The Human Mechanic. And it's important that we keep the dynamics of the show intact, and not to put it into any danger where songs are not fitting with the other. And
sure,
and it's important that the audience are not given something they're not given too many new songs, because that's unfair on the songs and it's unfair on the people because they don't really know it. So it's best to pick probably 2 songs that would work really good live with good grooves and they can relate to it. And it's in the set in between 2 big brothers like Black Knight or Lazy, and you just fit it in the middle, so people are not so, oh man, I don't know this one either. Because I've had that at concerts. I've heard people say, oh man, why don't they play this? And why don't they, No, it wasn't a Deep Purple. It was, what was it? Oh, I don't know. Who the hell was that? Oh, that was years ago. I think it was a rock and roll band from Dublin, but they didn't play any of their hits until the final quarter. And they just played a brand new album in its entirety.
I saw Dio do the same thing for Strange Highways, and people were just aching. They were just like, just throw in something. You know what I mean? Give us one tune from your, from all your hits and your catalog. But he played the whole record, and then when that was over, they did about 5 other songs. And you felt kind of like, I still love it. It's Dio, you know what I mean?
Of course.
Fantastic. Yeah. But at the same time, you kind of get itching, right? As an audience member, you're like, mix it up for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you like what you know. You like what you know. You pay the ticket, and of course you want to hear 2 or 3 new songs, but you still want to party and have fun with the stuff that you do know. So that's basically the dynamics of our show. That's our thought process when making a set list. And of course we'll be doing some Whitesnake because of Ian's time in the band, and recently because Nick Fife was injured, we had Neil Murray on bass.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so. What a rhythm section. Neil Murray and Ian was brilliant. We were friends.
I love Neil Murray. Yeah.
Oh, he's a gentleman. I love his humor. It's as dry as a towel. He's really, he's got a great sense of humor. He might say something funny for a couple of days, and then he just hits you with one. That's it. You're on the ground laughing. He's sweet.
Yeah, I would be bugging him constantly about stories about Cozy Powell. So.
Well, when we were in France on the last tour, the promoter brought us out for a really nice steak dinner, and Neil was beside me. And Neil doesn't really drink; he'll have one glass of whatever takes his fancy. And we got chatting about Cozy, and he said that there was a great story about Cozy when Richie was auditioning drummers, and he told back then he told Jimmy Bain was the bass player, I think Rainbow. He said, "Play it when the drummer comes in to audition, just play as fast as you can and keep it going until the drummer just gets so tired that he has to stop." That was Blackmore. So that went on and on and on, and 3, 4, 5 drummers said, "No, I can't do this. This is." But then Cozy came in,
right,
and he murdered them. Richie said, "I have to stop this guy. He's got the job." He just kept playing that really, fast, heavy double pedal, and stuff. But I got chatting because I love those Black Sabbath albums with Tony Martin and Cozy Powell. I thought they were great albums.
For sure. And I mean, Rainbow Rising, Long Live Rock and Roll.
Great stuff.
Two of my favorite albums of all time, and it's because of the whole lineup. I mean, Jimmy Bain, Bob Daisley, whoever's in that spot. It's all great. But back to what you guys are doing. You play a ton of shows. So what's your schedule like for the rest of the year?
Well, the rest of the year we're very busy. We're in about 2 weeks. We're touring in the Czech Republic. We got, I think, 5 dates there.
Mm-hmm.
Then Deep Purple are on the road for October.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start a lengthy tour through Germany and France. We start September, start of November, and we finish just before Christmas, 16th or 17th of December. We're off for Christmas, and then we're up to Scandinavia for a week in Sweden, and then we've got an awful lot of stuff on the table. But we're just waiting on Ian's schedule in Deep Purple because we have to plan obviously around that. Depends on what the lads in Purple are doing. So, but it'll be a big promotional tour for the Human Mechanic, and we're definitely trying to get stateside for the first time. So
that would be great. I'm over on the west. Yeah, I'm on the West Coast. I would love to see you guys.
West Coast. Whereabouts are you at?
I'm in Vancouver, Washington. So I'm by Portland, Oregon.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're over there near Seattle, or is it?
No, I'm south of that. I'm basically right across the Columbia River from Portland. I'm right on the border between Oregon and Washington.
Okie dokie. Forgive me my geography on America.
Oh no, it's okay. Usually I say Vancouver and people think I'm in BC, so I just have to clarify. Right. But no, it'd be great to see you guys over here. And
of course, we had something like 15 dates planned along the north and the east coast. But we had to put them on hold because of Deep Purple. They had something in America going on, so we had to kind of delay it. So our label are working on it again. So we'll just have to see what develops for 2023. But I'm fairly positive. It'd be great to get over there. And I mean, I have a lot of American buddies. When I was working in the bar in Germany, there's a lot of GI guys from the army. They used to come in, and there used to be really a lot of good banter, really funny. One of them came in one day and said, I've reserved a table, and I said, no problem, buddy. And I went and I just got him a table. I lifted it up and I brought it outside. I said, there you are. Are you taking it in the car or do you have a car? And he was saying, are you fucking crazy, man? Well, then,
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And when they come in as GIs, they're all revved up. They want shots and they're banging on the counter and stuff. And I said one day, look, guys, stop. I said, I'm just like your average toilet. I can just serve one asshole at a time.
Well, hey, Robby, is there anything else that we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about, or anything you want to throw out here at the end?
Yeah, basically, this album has been the best produced by myself and Herb. We got a really good sound on this. It's very punchy, and there's something in there for everybody. I mean, lyrically, it's a loose concept lyrically about the state of the world at the moment, which is it's all messed up. But wouldn't it be great if you we have our psychologists and psychiatrists doing phenomenal work, but wouldn't it be great if we could just bring somebody who's really crazy and get them into a car mechanic and just say, oh, hang on, we'll put a belt on you here, and then send him out in the world and he's fine, So it's a bit flippant, and I mean, it's not to be taken too seriously, but even though there is some serious topics in there, but it's all tongue in cheek. And I have to thumbs up to the lads. Ian Paice is playing like a monster on it. He's grooving absolutely like a monster. And there's some tasty guitars in there and Hammond organs. And it's paradoxal. There's a purple influence, but it's not. It's
Right.
different. There's a lot of influences in there. And I think anybody that's into rock and roll or even metal or that kind of genre of music, they love it. They really dig it. And the ones that don't, that's no problem. I understand that.
Well, you can't please everybody. I was going to ask, so do you guys drag around a B3?
We used to, but it's pretty expensive. We have to. We're actually endorsed by Hammond Germany, but we cannot look around. I mean, it's so expensive nowadays. I mean,
right.
But there again, if we get the chance, and our endorsers, or if we're near our depot or whatever like that, some shows we do put it on stage. But my God, it's stressy to bring a monster like that on tour.
Oh, so, for sure.
Hammond nowadays have the X100, I think it is, and we use a Nord Electro, which the samples are just. It's not a Hammond, we understand that, but it's very close, very very close, So but there is people, specialists out there. We call them the music police. They'll say, "Oh, you have no Hammond organ." We don't. We don't have to have them. We are not.
Well. Yeah, I tell you, I worked in a music store, and we had a backline company in the back, and they had 3 B3s, right, and Leslie's, but they had a truck, and they had the dollies, and like you just pop those wheels up, roll it up, and when bands came through, they just used ours because they weren't gonna drag it on tour. You know what I mean?
Exactly what it's.
But I just got rid of an M3 and a couple Leslie's from 1957 and 1962.
Amazing.
And it was kind of heartbreaking, but at the same time, I just needed the space, and I can't move them, and you know what I mean. And they sound beautiful, but I also found like a really good software version of a Hammond, and it's so hard to tell the difference, but it's
it is nowadays. Yeah, I mean, if you're really, really. There's a fine line, but it's close. It's close. It's good enough for what we're doing. It's.
Yeah, I bet you if you used a really great sampled Hammond, but in your videos played a B3, I don't think anyone would know. I mean, I really don't.
That's a good question, actually. I'd love to do that test.
You know what I mean? But
yeah, sure.
But hey, I just want to thank you again, and Robby. It's been great talking to you and sharing. Stories about your band and your career and working with Ian. So looking forward to more stuff from you guys. Sure. Everybody check out Perpendicular, Human Mechanic, out September 23rd, 2022. And like I said, thanks one more time, Robby.
No problem. Great talking to you, and keep safe. And keep up great work, and we'll meet soon, I'm sure.
I hope so. Thanks so much, and have a great day.
You too, man. Gonna get a beer now.
All right. Bye.